Hey y'all, I'm your host, Kennedy Brady. That's Kennedy like the president and Brady like the bunch, but since you're here, you can call me Kim just like the Barbie. And this is Ken Ray B. Oh guys, here we are. Now I can't see you, but hopefully if I've done this right, you can see me. I'll admit, when it comes to technology, I'm a bit of a grandpa. I can answer a call and send you a text, and that's about it. But somehow, by the grace of God, I managed to set up a video feed. And thank God that I did, just in time too, because this week's episode is going to be just a little bit different. This week, you're tuning into my very first interview. But before we get into that, I do want to give a shout out to today's sponsors, Genevieve's. Genevieve's is a French country boutique down in Memphis, Tennessee. You are going to get to see a sneak peek of their store in today's episode. If you like what you see, you can give them a follow on Instagram at Genevieve's 2025, or you can visit them at 111 North Spring Street in McMinnville, Tennessee. Kansas Redmon is a lifelong friend of mine. Growing up, our moms were best friends, and when I was a toddler, she was the closest thing to a big sister that I had. When she was 23, which is the age I am right now recording this, Kansas went through an unimaginable situation. And after that horrendous situation, almost exactly a year later, at a mere 24 years old, she got diagnosed with breast cancer and had to undergo a double mastectomy. Kansas's story is full of hardship and grief and obstacles, but it's also full of joy, gladness, and laughter. I mean, I'll warn you, we talk about some touchy and hard subjects in today's episode, including domestic assault and suicidal ideation. But the weird thing is that Kansas and I could not stop laughing. I mean, honestly, it was like we were kids again. That's not to downplay any of Kansas's experiences at all. Trust me, you're about to hear it for yourself. She has been through some wild things. But I do think that it highlights how God can take the most hopeless of stories and fill them with joy and laughter, working them all for the good. In fact, God has filled Kansas's life with so much hope and purpose that she's literally changed her entire career path in order to serve others who also have cancer. And you'll hear about it all right now. Without further ado, this is Kansas Redmon on Ken Ray B. Hey guys, welcome to Ken Ray B. This is a little bit different because you're actually probably seeing me for the first time. You're also seeing my guest for the first time. So if everything works out and I'm a tech genius, then hopefully you're actually able to watch and see us right now. But who knows if I'll be able to actually pull this off. Today I'm sitting with Kansas Redmon, aka the coolest person I've ever known since I was like born, I guess. Like, oh wow, I've actually known you my whole life. That's insane.
I was thinking that earlier. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm nervous, but I was like, I've literally known her my entire life, so like we can keep it going. So.
Yeah, so Kansas, she literally is probably the coolest person I've ever met. And then, gosh, I guess about 3 years ago, she became literally the strongest person that I've ever met in my life. And today is just all about hearing her story.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said.
Yeah, Kansas has lived. You've lived a lot. You've lived a lot of life in your 26 years.
Yeah, like earlier, I was like, I just feel like I'm 40 years old already at 26.
The joints are aching.
The joints are aching. The brain is aching. But I feel like I'm in like the best spot I've ever been in right now.
Yeah.
So
we're happy to have you on.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here.
Kansas literally, like, when I had the idea for this podcast and for the blog and like everything that I'm doing, I told Kansas, I was like, you have to be the first person. Little did she know she would have to wait like 2 years to get featured on this podcast.
I've been thinking about it ever since. I've been so
I would get random texts from you all the time, like, hey, like, keep it up. And I'm like, I got to do something like right now. And I got to buy the microphones. I got to get the equipment. I've got to make this thing happen. So, okay, take me back to 23.
Okay, so like I said, I'm 26 now. So at 23, to start off, I was with this guy, thought, love of my life, thought I had it all, thought I knew everything there was about life at 23.
As we all do.
As we all do.
23 now, and I can say, yeah.
Just think I have it figured out, and some people do. But yeah, I was engaged and whole wedding. We were together for 3.5 years. And then I don't even know how to like say it without being like,
girl, you just
going right in.
Just say it. Yeah, just jump in.
Well, he domestically assaulted me
Mm-hmm.
very bad. Um, and there was no aggression before that. So it was like the most shocking thing ever.
Yeah.
Um, and we lived together for like a year and a half. We were together for about roughly 3.5 years. Now it feels like a lifetime ago. I'm like, I don't even remember exactly how long, but yeah, so I was domestically assaulted. I ended up having to go to the hospital over that. A lot happened. I don't know if anyone has heard of Scoop Nashville.
Oh boy, have I.
That
Yeah.
was so not only was I going through the breakup of a lifetime, Scoop Nashville got
Yeah.
it.
Explain what Scoop
So,
Nashville is for our listeners
so
that don't
yeah.
know.
So Scoop Nashville is like if you get arrested in Nashville,
They
oh,
know
it's
about
getting
it. Yeah.
blasted. Everybody and their grandmother is going to know what happened to you, down to like a fight in a bar
Mm-hmm.
to a domestic
Yeah.
assault, like, which my story was crazy because it was like middle of the night, like all of that jazz, and just barely got away. Um, but yeah, so the Scoop Nashville got it, and it's kind of like a news outlet, but he will blast everything. Like he got my address on there, and
Oh, so
that.
you like practically got doxxed.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yes. He tagged my social media, the guy's social media, and like we were getting
Wow.
calls. People found out our numbers, which I like couldn't talk to him,
Right.
so we were like waiting on court. We couldn't talk to each other for months. Like, mind you,
And then
was
all that's
within,
going on.
yeah,
Yeah.
all that was going on. And like, you'll probably hear me talk about Nicole. Like, Nicole come up a lot because she's like my closest friend and she's been through it all with me. But I just remember I was at Nicole's house and I saw it. I think maybe she saw it before
Mm-hmm.
me. I don't remember exactly, but I just remember everybody from McMinnville
Like
texting me.
instantly knew.
Yeah, it's like everybody was texting me, everybody was sending it to me. And I was like, yeah. So like that happened and like everything, like the whole report was in there. Um, so like since my address was leaked, like people were and had our number, people were calling us like threatening to come to our apartment and like
Oh
beating
wow.
up or
So
whatever.
not only have you gone through like the worst night of your life up until that point,
Yes.
but then now you're having to deal with threatening calls, people
Yeah.
literally threatening to come to your apartment. That's insane.
Yeah. So I was like, so he had like I don't honestly don't even know where he was staying, but I was like back at the apartment, home with family, staying with Nicole, like all that, and I had to figure out how to break the lease.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I can't like I don't know. So I
You can't
went.
stay there.
I can't
Yeah.
stay there. People are like threatening to show up. So I immediately had to get all of that done, break the lease, and then like separate all of our things while I'm going through this breakup that's like terrible and we can't communicate. So my mom's having to message his mom and like, oh
It's like a
yeah,
whole,
a
yeah.
whole thing. And so we get all that penned out. I moved in with my great grandmother in her basement that's redone. And I just remember like my family like moving me in and I'm just laying there like this cannot be real
Like your
life.
life. Yeah.
Like this cannot be real. And I worked downtown Nashville. My whole entire life was there. And then
Mm-hmm.
I just had to be uprooted and
Mm-hmm.
like back to McMinnville and living with my grandmother with like what felt like
I
nothing.
mean, that's a 180
Yeah.
if I've ever heard one.
Yeah. And we had like two cats together. We had to split the cats. Like, so like he lost a cat, I lost a cat, which was like that
I
sounds
know
so
for you that
silly,
is
but like
devastating.
that
No, I
was
know that for
like
you that's
yeah,
devastating.
and like I just knew how upset he was, and like through it all, like I mean, at the end of the day, I was in love with him. So I just remember laying there and just being like, "What am I gonna do? Like
Yeah.
this is," and I was just a shell of a person for a long time, and I think like and this is kind of where like everything will tie in like all the stories kind of like go through my journey like with my faith and like all of that. I just there's a core memory of me. So like there was like a carport at my grandmother's and that was like the way I came in. And I just remember sitting in my car and hanging onto the steering wheel and just putting my head to it and just crying and sitting in the carport for hours and debating on, whether I wanted to live or not. And I'm not a type of person to struggle with that, or wanting to take my life. But in that moment, I really thought about it and how I would do it. And really, the only thing that was keeping me from it was my mom and my friends, and knowing how much it would hurt them. And looking back now, like where I'm at now, that just seems insane, like an insane thought. I can't believe I would even have that. Yeah. And so I really, I was like, I'm just not sure that I believe in God. I'm not sure, like, that. And all my life I had, my mom, I grew up in the church. I grew up, and that was the first time in my life I was like, I just don't think that I believe in God, and he wouldn't do this to me. And like, everybody, I think, has a point where they struggle. And I have struggled with faith, but not in
like
that capacity.
Level.
Yeah. And I was like, man, like, am I an atheist now? Like, that's crazy to say. And I remember journaling because Nicole made me. Of course. She's
Thank
like,
you, Nicole.
Nicole, bless up for you. But she was like, the first thing she told me, because like I confided in her so much about how I felt, and she was like, you just need a journal so you can look back and remember how you felt. And she's a therapist, so I'm so grateful for that. But she's like, you need to just continue journaling. And I journaled about like how I felt, and I just can go back and look now, and it's like, I think this is the day that like I don't believe in God. And like I'm like, I look back now and I'm like, girl, therapy would be great for you. Like, therapy would be great, church would be great, like, I don't know. And like, my mom knew it, but I didn't really confine her about, because I knew how much it would crush her. Sorry, mother. Sorry. And then I started going to therapy, and therapy saved my life. Like, my therapist, she saved my life. I love her so much, and I still go to her every now and then. Just honestly, just to check in and say, hey, girl, because I have hit her so much. Like, but so.
Like, now it's my turn to check in on you.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, I'm doing good. Like, just so you know, like, I'm actually, like, I'm good. Thank you so much.
Success story, right
here. You're great. But so, yeah, after all of that, and then not even a year later. So, well, even when I was like in therapy, I started like, okay, well, like, I don't think I'm atheist. Like, I think I was a little misconstrued there.
You're just down, like wrestling.
I was down bad. A girl was going through some things.
Well, I can totally understand how you go through that, and you just like, there's no way God's real after that. Because like, why?
Yeah. Because like, I thought I had it all. I was like, I love this man and all this. And turns out the love blinders were on. I think back and I'm like, what? That is not even almost 2020. Yes. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, it was, I hate to say this, but like kind of a blessing in disguise. Like, I'm just like such a better person now than I was at that point. And it's crazy to look back on. But when I started like I said, going to therapy, and I was like, well, I don't think I'm atheist, but I do think I'm spiritual. Like, I would go to church every now and then with mom, whatever. And, but when not even a year later, we get into the next thing.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
And you're 23 at that time, right? Like, or 24?
I was 24. So I was 23 when everything happened with him, and I was 24 when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I had stage 2 triple positive, which was insane. I remember how I found it. I was with my friend Natalie, and we had just been out. We went out, we had dinner, and we were having fun. And then I was in the shower, and I felt a lump in my chest, and I was like, this is weird. I was like, I don't feel this. And she was like, I don't think it's anything, like women get cysts. And I was like, you're so right. So I just like blew it off. And my mom was like, no, you're going to get that checked out.
You gotta go see a doctor.
You gotta go see a doctor. So I went and got it checked out and had it biopsied, and it came back as cancer. And I was like,
I mean,
come on now, like, what?
What is your first thought? I mean, being literally 24. I mean, that's so young to have breast cancer of all things. Like, What's going through your brain?
I mean, there's so many, like the car situation, like there's like very vivid moments that I can see in my mind. And obviously like that is one of those times is I was working from home, thank God.
Okay.
Yeah. I was working from home and I got a call from my doctor and I was just thinking it was going to be like, oh, like, you know, assist or come in, we'll get it removed, whatever. And he's like, is this Kansas? I'm like, yeah. And I lived alone and he's like, I have to tell you, like, we got your results back, and it did come back as stage 2. Or no, he didn't say stage 2 because we didn't know yet. He said it just had come back as cancer. And I was like, I just remember being like, what? And he was like, I know, like, we'll have you come in. And I was kind of surprised that, like, he told me over the phone.
Yeah.
Like, I thought, like, maybe I would, like, go into the office and then you'd break the news. No, he told me over the phone, and I just remember just immediate bawling, like, squalling. I, like, dropped to my knees in my apartment and was just like, this cannot be real. And I remember saying, like, I can't talk right now. And I just hung up on him. And I called my mom and I was like, you know, and I was like, Mom, I have cancer. And so she starts, you know, the same thing. And she's like, I'll be there in like 20 minutes. And she came over and we're just crying together. And like, I'm like, I don't know, like, what I'm going to do. And at that point, we had no idea, like, how far along it was or if it was, you know, metastatic, if it was worse, you know. And then I just remember after that, like, the domestic assault, everything that had happened then was just past. And it was just the craziest thing because in my head, I'm like, okay, from the car moment, I was thinking about, oh, I might take my life or I want to take my life. And the only reason I'm not. And to, do I want to fight for my life? And I was like, no, I do. Like, I don't want this to be like what takes me, you know? And it just honestly put things in perspective. Like, oh, wow, like, that's not what I wanted. Like, I have so much more life to live. And, yeah, so there's just back to back. And then I just started the next 2 weeks were appointments. I was in Murfreesboro like 3 days a week. And I remember after I had just graduated what they call in therapy from exposure therapy.
Okay.
From the other incident before with my therapist. And I was like able to go on dates again. I wasn't scared of men anymore. I had some issues where I was scared to be around men and
understandably.
And go on dates. I just didn't want to like, and I was doing good. I was going on dates and I was talking to this guy and we had been talking for like a month and then I found out I had cancer. And I remember going to therapy and she had no idea yet. And I was like, hey. And she was like, how's it going? Like, she knew everything was going great. And I was going on dates and I'd met this guy that I liked. And I was like, I just found out I have cancer. I have never in my life seen a therapist speechless. She was like, just stared at me for a second. And I'm like,
You're like, say something. This is your job.
yeah, like,
say something.
Help me, help. I'm drowning. But so, no. And then she was like, oh my, like, I think she was literally like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, yeah, girl, I don't know. Like I will pay for your entire life with the therapy I need from you. Like, now looking back, it's funny because she's just like, okay, one thing from like, I just graduated exposure therapy and she's like, okay, well, like, how are you okay? Like, how do you feel about that? Like, are you like, what do you have to do? And then I found out like it was stage 2, it wasn't metastatic, whatever. And I did 6 months of chemo and then I did a double mastectomy reconstruction. So it was like a year-long process of chemo and surgeries, and it was like the hardest time of my life. I didn't know what to expect. I hadn't really done any research. You don't really have time to do research because they throw you in so
So quickly.
fast.
Yeah.
Like, it's just appointment after appointment. You're getting all this information. You have no idea what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You just show up. And I just remember my first chemo, I came home, I felt okay. The third day is when you start really feeling bad.
Mm-hmm.
I had some complications with some medicine that made me feel very crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it had a terrible effects on me. I wasn't sure I would be able to finish chemo. But I started losing my hair after the second round, and that was really hard. And well, the guy I was with at the time, I told him, like I said, we were talking for a month. We weren't even really official. And I told him, I just remember being like, hey, like, I just found out I have cancer. And I had to have told him about the other stuff too. And was like,
Yeah.
please, like, do not stay. Like, if you don't want to, like, this is a
This is a
lot.
big,
This is
yeah.
big. And he did, which I appreciated, but in the end, wish that he would have just, lived
Yeah.
his life, because it was a lot harder on both of us than I think we thought. I didn't really realize how much treatment I was going to have.
Yeah. Well, especially because at this time you didn't know that you were going to have like the reconstruction and all that, right?
No, and I was like, I'm just going to do a lumpectomy and all this, and then over the course of time, the complications and the unknown, like, I ended up having to do a lot more. But yeah, when I lost my hair, that was so hard. I didn't feel feminine anymore.
Well, especially because we had lunch like right before this, and we were talking about how bougie our moms are. And not in the sense of like, wearing Louis and Prada, but more so in the sense of like makeup's always done, hair's always done, nails are always on. Like, so I can only imagine for you to lose yours is like, who am I?
And I always had like long,
very long. Kansas was the it girl. She won't tell you, but I will tell you. Kansas was the it girl.
No.
Still is the it girl.
Oh,
but yeah. So I mean, like, and I know that you just came through obviously the domestic assault situation. You're like, who is God and why did this happen to me? You're then wrestling with your faith. Then you get diagnosed with cancer and you're losing, like, you're physically losing, like,
myself.
Your identity.
And I did feel like I lost my identity in that time. And, well, it's like, it's always, I feel so crazy saying this, but like, cancer brought me so close to God because like I said, I had fell off, with faith so bad. And then when I was diagnosed, nobody came through for me more than the church that I had neglected. And my mother and my grandma, they have went there for years and years, and put me on the prayer list. But the overwhelming amount of messages, gifts, help, anything that they gave me was insane. And they did not have to do that. And I was like, that's who I want to be. Like, I want to be somebody that's there for people that I don't even know. Like, a lot of them, like, they knew of me,
but didn't like know
they didn't know me, and they didn't have to do that. And so many people showed up, and I was just like, wow, like, that was God showing me, like, and I was just like, I can't believe, like, I don't know, just strayed so far. And that brought me back for sure. And I just remember thinking, like, I wrote a note to the church, or a card I gave them, and was just like, thank you so much. Like, it's just restored my faith in God, everybody that has showed up for me, and that didn't have to. So.
And that's what, like, I mean, in my eyes, like, that's what the church is supposed to be. And I feel like there's a sense of that can get a little lost. I think you just get desensitized to, like, until it happens to you or somebody close to you. It's like, I'll pray about that later. And then you never really, and then it's just like you go about your day. But like, for all of those people to step up like that and it have such an impact on you.
Yeah.
Like, did anybody even like know that you were struggling, or were they just like kind of doing it out of?
They didn't
Just
know I
the-
was struggling. They
Yeah.
just did it because, you know, and just out of the kindness of their heart, I don't even think it really had anything to do with me being so young. But I mean, I think a lot of people sympathized with that.
Yeah.
Like, and my mom and grandma were struggling
Yeah.
too, seeing me. And like, my grandpa had cancer and he passed away kind of due to cancer, the effects from it. So it was really hard for my grandma to see, I think, again, like, she's just like, oh my gosh, like, it's such a big part of her cancer. It was such a big part of her life, like, caring. And, but yeah.
How has it been for like your mom and your grandma to kind of watch your faith get transformed like that?
I don't know that they knew
How bad? Yeah.
But they definitely knew, like
things weren't good.
Things weren't good. And well, you've been a big influence, so
I'm gonna cry on this podcast. You're making me cry on this
no,
podcast.
no, literally, I'm like, don't cry. But, like, I just remember, like, you would post, like, how can I pray for you today? And, like, I'm, like, gonna get choked up. But, like, girl, please pray for me. Like, and then, like, you were like, I'm gonna start doing blogs. And I would talk to my mom and be like, gosh, Kennedy is, like, such a good person and she's so strong in her faith. Like, I want to be like Kennedy. Like, I want to know. And so I know. I'm like, girl, I know, okay. Literally same. But I went, and this is like kind of funny. You had posted a blog or something about like a type of Bible, I don't know, that you were like reading, whatever. And I was like, I need that. I have to have it because that's what Kennedy has. So I went to Books A Million and I bought this Bible, and it was like She Reads Truth or something. Yeah. And
that's in the back right there. I'll go grab it.
I was like, Kennedy has it, and like, I want to be like Kennedy, so I need it. So I went to Books A Million. And spend a check on this Bible because I was like, they're not cheap. I was like, holy crap. But you know what? It is what it is, and I have to get it. So I got that. You influenced me. And so I started reading that a little bit, and then I kind of stopped, but I like listened to this podcast and like going through the book of Genesis, because I never really went through it myself. Like, I just remember like Bible study, like everybody knows the Noah's Ark. Like, you know,
literally the first one that I thought of.
Literally, it's like, okay, Noah's Ark.
Yeah, Adam and Eve, and then there's Noah, and then
yeah. So I'm like, I just like don't know like the whole thing. So I started that, but like, yeah, you're the one who's like influenced all of that for me. So yeah, that's why I'm like so excited to be here. And like your blog, like I'm still like so excited when you post it to go read it. Like, I immediately go read it.
I kid you not. So. And you're gonna think I'm bullcrapping right now, and I swear to you, but I'm not. Like, every single thing that I write or that I post, my first thought is you. Because, like, keep in mind, I had the idea for all of this like 2 years ago, and I promised Kansas, I was like, you have to be the first one because your story is just like so incredible. And like, so every single thing I write, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, this has to be really good because Kansas is to read it.
Immediately, I'm like feedback. I'm like, I love this so much. I love you so much.
And you're a big reader, so it means a lot to me that you choose to read my stuff. Because I know that you're like, girl, when it comes to a book, you're gonna eat it up.
Oh, I'm gonna eat it up. Yes. Yeah. And that, like, just to like even bring back, we were talking about this earlier, is like I love fantasy books. Like, I have the dragon with the books tattooed on my arm. Like, I didn't know how juicy the Bible was. No, I was like, girl, oh my God. I was like reading your first blog, and I think it was like Abram and Sarai, and I was like, what? I don't know. It was like so funny. And then like your little memes, they were like just so cute. And I was like, this is like the juiciest thing I've ever read. I was like, I need more. Like the book of Esther, like it gives like a book I'm reading. I'm like, did she read Esther and be like you said, like, I could tweak this a little bit.
Let me add a dragon in there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we're good to go.
No, literally, I'm like, this is so fun. So
I'm just like in awe of you, like straight up. Dude, and you're only 26.
I know. I feel like I'm
You're
like
like,
a
God, I
friend.
can have a few calm years now, right?
No,
Like, let me breathe.
literally, I just remember telling my mom, like, after, like, I beat cancer. Oh, I did beat cancer. Yeah, just to wrap it all up, I did end up beating cancer. Yeah, we got a little off track there. But, no, like, after I beat cancer, I was like, Mom, like, I can't take anything else.
No.
Like, I need a couple good years, like, and I feel like I've had those. So, I'm like, whew, well, maybe a year. I don't even know how long it's been now, too, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah. Oh gosh, it has been that
2
long.
years.
How do you feel like right now in your faith? Everything that you just told me, like where are you at right now? What are you doing now?
I feel so strong in my faith, which is like, I don't know. I always feel so guilty on myself because like I'm not the like every Sunday church goer. Like I don't really like go to church, but I do like I listen to like the podcast. I try to sit down and like give myself time to like pray and like do those things. I obviously, everybody wants to be better. I could be much better, but faith wise, I feel very strong, and it's just like, and I just want to meet like-minded people, and that it makes me excited to like be closer with you, like
I
the
know.
full circle moment.
It really is
like,
because well, we lived in the same town when I was really little, and then I ended up moving away. But it was really strange because from the time I was little, I can just remember being like, Kansas is cool. I'm gonna be like Kansas. And then like we went through a few years. I would say when both of us like that middle high school, when like our moms would hang out and we'd be like,
we're too cool.
Like,
we don't
who
want to
wants
hang
to
out with
hang
our
out with
mom.
mom? And then I feel like now we're at the point where it's like, when our mom's hanging out, where should we hang
I know.
out?
Like, when am I gonna see Kennedy? Like, okay, mom. Like, I love hanging out with our moms.
Just, like, so. There's just like God is like in every part of it, which is like really insane to step back and like see that.
It is. It is crazy.
It is crazy.
I'm like such a better person for everything I've been through, and I wouldn't change my life at all. Yeah. I'm just like such a better person. I feel like so.
I do feel like this is probably the most joyful like I've ever seen you in your life.
Yeah.
And I've been here for. You've been here for all of mine. So from as far as I can remember, like this is literally probably the straight up. I don't even want to use happy because I don't feel like it's not a strong enough word. Like it is literally just joy.
Yeah.
Which is insane when you think about everything that you've been through. Most people, it would just be like, I don't even want to get up in the morning. And then here you are. And it's just like, you really do just like go out and live life. Yeah. Which is something I really admire about you.
Thank you.
So what are you doing now for work? Because I know that your career kind of changed after all this.
Yes. So I'm back in school for X-ray. I did medical sales for 3 years, and I'm just not a sales gal. If you don't want it, all right. I'm not.
Oh, it's a no.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. Yeah, so it was okay, and at first I really loved it. I made decent money, and then and they were good. Like when I was diagnosed, like I was with them, I had time off, which was great, but I never really was passionate about anything. Yeah, and then I had actually a CT tech that was like sat with me. I was terrified for my first CT, and he was like, "It's gonna be okay." And like at that point, I had lost my hair. He knew what I was going through, and he was just very sympathetic and took the time. And I was just like, "Oh, that was really nice," and like kind of changed my perspective on that. And I was like, I really just want to be in the medical field. Yeah. And even I went back and forth with phlebotomy, which is like a lot less school. I probably should have chose that.
Where they draw your blood?
Yeah.
I'd pass out.
I was like, maybe I just will be a phlebotomist, because there was this phlebotomist at the oncology or at Tennessee Oncology, and she just brightened up my day every time I saw her, and I loved her. Every time I was at oncology, I was like, I hope I get her. And she had also had breast cancer.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So y'all could just really relate.
Yeah. We could really relate. And she was just so uplifting. And I just always tell people like that I'm around now, like it doesn't matter like where you are, like in the medical team that you're with somebody, like you can be the nurse, you can be the doctor, the phlebotomist, the x-ray tech or whatever, and you can make a difference in that person's life and the care that they receive. And I just wanted to be that for someone. So yeah, so
I think that
I'm
is
back in
so
school.
cool. I remember my mom being the one to tell me that you were like going back to school, and I was like, what, for what? Like, I thought she had like this like cool like sales job, and like she got to work from home. Like, why is she going back to school? And then she was like, no, I think she really wants to help people, like in the same way that people helped her when she was going through everything. It literally made me tear up because I was like, oh my gosh, like I just cannot even imagine like how many lives that you're going to change with that.
So. I really hope so. And like even like with clinic now, like I see people come in and they're battling cancer, and I'm just like, I just want to like make sure they get the best care they can when they're with me. And with x-ray, I mean, you see so many different people in a day, but there was like one patient I had, and I told mom, and it made me so happy. Like, it was this little old lady, and she had came in, and I was just went in there and was like, hey, like I'll be doing your x-ray today, and was just trying to, you know, be as nice as possible. And when I left, her daughter that was with her was like, oh, she was really nice. And I was just like, just that little comment made my entire week.
Yeah.
And like I still think about it, and it was just probably she thought just nothing about it.
Yeah,
like
it's probably just said in passing.
And I was like, that's what I want, is like, because I'd had so many nurses that, or not even nurses per se, but just medical that wasn't that great, and it would ruin my day.
Because you're
already,
especially given what you had gone through before getting diagnosed with cancer, then you get diagnosed with cancer, and it is true. I mean, like, one person saying something negative or something you could have just really spiraled.
Yeah.
And I imagine there were days that you probably did.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I definitely did a few times, but the ones that took the time and cared, I remember them, every single one of them. And I remember the really bad ones too. But so you remember, and it makes a huge difference. And I just want to make a difference in a good way. So, with patients. So, yeah.
And now you get to do it.
And now I get to do that. And I'm passionate about it, and I love it. And yeah, I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited for life. So.
And oh my gosh, that's gonna make me cry. Just because, like, well, even just going back to like, oh gosh, Kansas.
Like, don't start crying, because I will.
No, just like going back to like you know, not even knowing if you like wanted to continue living, and then now you're just like so excited for every day. It's just like, again, you're the coolest, strongest, most inspiring person I know. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast and like sharing your story. And you're gonna have to come back, because the story is definitely not over with you. I just know it.
I know. I'm excited for more. So yeah.
Well, you can. What's your Instagram so people can find you?
Oh gosh. What is my Instagram? I think it's Cans Red. Yep, all my cat pictures on there. So
go like them right now. That's in order.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
I'm so glad I could.
And that's the episode for today. Lots of wow. I'm just
a lot of ups and downs here. So
all right, well, that's our show. Be sure to like and subscribe. Again, Kansas's Instagram is Cans Red. Mine is Kenray B. That's where you can find the two of us if you want to keep up with us. Yeah, thanks for listening. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Kenray B. I'm so honored to help share Kansas's story, and I'm just proud to know her, if I'm being honest. If you or a loved one are facing issues of domestic assault or domestic abuse, you can call the National Domestic Abuse Hotline at 800-799-7233. If you or a loved one are struggling with suicidal thoughts or ideations, you can call the National Suicide and Crisis Hotline at 988. And please contact 911 if you're in a life-threatening situation or if you're in immediate danger. Thank you for listening to this episode of Kenray B. Be sure to like and subscribe. And hey, if you've got a story that you'd like to share about how God has worked in your life, send me a DM. Hit me up on socials. I would love to keep the interviews rolling. Anyway, I'll see y'all later.